Howdy folks, TJ here. I have not slept much since basically Friday evening, 12 a.m. Saturday morning, because of the Spectrum Next Issue 3 Kickstarter. And that's what this whole video is going to be about. It's going to be a long one because we're going to go through their Kickstarter together, maybe answer some questions, probably not because I already know what's on here, but maybe ask some questions myself, and maybe some of you will know, just to kind of peruse what's going on here. Before we start, though, have you ever heard of the word buck naked or butt naked? So I'm going to go ahead and splash a picture right now. Okay, it's up. This is me buck naked at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning, ordering something I did not think I would be able to pledge for. It's actually called pledge, not ordering, but you're kind of ordering, but it's a pledge for a Specky Next Kickstarter 3 that many months ago I said I would probably not be participating in. So, yeah. So what happened? So I made a video last week about me not being able to probably... It came at a bad time. Too many things are happening right now in my life. I can't afford it. There's no way I can get a Specky Next Kickstarter 3. And the odds are it's going to be probably the bestest, most coolest one that I'm going to kick myself in the wazoolies many times because I can't afford. So I put up that post. And then a couple of days later, a picture of a translucent purple, they're calling it magenta, but I'm going to call it purple, a picture of a Kickstarter 3 Next that supposedly is happening. And all of a sudden, my heart just started palpitating. It stopped, I think, at one point. And I go, man, son of a bitch! I can't afford to get one. And I've been bugging and wanting a translucent one for a while. And it's purple. So I go, I've got to figure out a way to do this. Even though I'm poor as sap and I can't afford to get one. I'm maxed out every place. What can I do? So I actually came up with, on the fly, the second I saw this purple people eater, I'm calling it, of a Specky Next Kickstarter 3, what can I do? Can I pit my wife? Can I pit myself? Can I sell something? There really is not much around here that I could do that with. But being a bright person I am, I did create a video game on the Specky Next. If you've been watching my channel, you know I made a Invasion of the Cloud People The Next Storm, a very cool physical edition, very limited. And I came up with an idea, well, maybe I should auction off one of my own, because I kept 4 serial numbers for myself. Serial numbers being as simple as 1, 2, 3, so on. I kept 1, 2, 3, and number 7. So I thought, why don't I come up with an auction where I could put together a more robust kit of the number 2 edition of the physical game and throw some extra goodies in there. So I came up with a video. I posted that last week, and I said, what do you think, folks? Would you do it? And a few said I would do it, meaning bid on my own auction. And I put it on my Sinclair Society Facebook group. And happy to say today, I was able to, from that, collect roughly about half of the proceeds for me to get a Specky Next. So I did lose my number 2 edition of my own game, but it's going in somebody's hands that seems to appreciate what I've done with the game, and they're getting some extras that no one else will have, which I think is cool. So anyway, I did that, and then I go, okay, I'm going to do it. So on basically Saturday morning, I said, okay, we're going to take a gamble. We're going to take a chance that I somehow can pull this off. And I found out that Kickstarter allows you to pay a pledge in 3 months, which will also be of benefit. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I did it. I could not skip getting a purple people eater Specky Next Kickstarter 3 because it offers more bang for the buck. And at this point, I was buck naked when I was posting the picture, ordering my Specky Next, and I guarantee most people probably had their clothes on when they were doing it. Me? No, I was naked. I need to write an article about this. Anyway, so Kickstarter 3 is happening. It is blowing the walls off of quantity. Let me focus it on the screen, turn off the lighting, because we're going to look through this together. Now, I welcome you to go to the Kickstarter page yourself for a very close visual of everything, but we're going to glance over things and cover what I think is cool, and I'm so excited that I'm going to be part of this Kickstarter again. So let me bring up the screen a little bit, a little tighter, and focus in on the screen. And there's the phone. I'm going to get that phone, and then I'll come right back. So hold tight. All right, I am back. So, Spectrum, ZXSpectrum, Next issue 3, the Sinclair ZXSpectrum Next, the evolution of the Specky computer, now expanded into the world of Sinclair QL C64, which is something we'll cover a little bit here as well, because you're going, Sinclair C64? What in the Hades is that? And more. And then it shows a picture. I'm not going to play this video. You go to the Kickstarter, watch the video yourself. But I want to circulate here $1,808,516 more. They only listed this pledge of $335,000 that they wanted to meet as a minimum to do this. We're in 2.5 days up to $1,808,516 for a total of 3,884 backers. 27 days to go. Wow. Now, things typically settle down after about a week, and then things will kind of cruise along, and then there'll be a spurt at the end. Ooh. I got a little adult innuendo in there. But then there'll be some more. I think this may end up becoming the largest Kickstarter to date, which people were, and myself included, I said originally, unless they do something additional that really pushes over the top, I can see the Kickstarter 3 working and selling a fine quantity, but not breaking records like it's doing right now and surpassing past ones. I think by them having a new FPGA that's more powerful to give this future foolproof capability is a big one for many of us, because the newer one may be able to at some time do something the original Specky Next Kickstarter 1 and 2 can't in terms of FPGA. Maybe like think Amiga, Atari cores. You may need the higher core, and you may be left out if you don't have that. I can't say for sure, but to me, if they're going to a bigger core, it's because they need more power to do these things. So I couldn't, if I'm going to use a Specky Next, I'm going to use it mostly for Sinclair. That's what I'm here for. Sinclair Next, older Sinclair, and the QL too. Other cores that become an option, fine, add them to it. It may not be my own personal need, but it's cool that it's available, and it's great to have it in one computer. So anyway, 3,885 backers, 27 days to go. I'm going to think, what was the last one? Did it end up being just over 2 million US? So I think we're going to break this. We should, unless things completely turn off. So huge numbers. Is that UPS? I hear a cart there. I don't hear the dogs barking though. I may need to spring up in a second. Anyway, so here's a video. I'm not going to play it. Watch it yourself. But needless to say, as you scroll down, I'm not going to read everything here verbatim, but let's just go over some crunchy, quick stuff. The Sinclair ZXSpectrum Next, a revolution rebooted, and it kind of gives a lot of the original story of why they came up with the original Kickstarter 1 the first time around. And it's soaking you in, it's getting you ready, and you're getting excited. You go, okay, no big deal. Meet the ZXSpectrum issue 3. This is where it starts getting real interesting. It says the ZXSpectrum Next issue 3 is the third generation of the modern Specky, a beautifully engineered 8-bit machine built with a touch of nostalgia and focused on innovation. It follows the success of our 2 previous Kickstarter campaigns, delivering over 10,000 units worldwide, and introduces a larger, more powerful FPGA, Artix A7 XC7A35T, and then the minus sign, 2CSG324C. That's a lot of stuff. Anyway, it's a newer, more powerful FPGA. So that right off the bat. And why did they do that? It says for support for additional platforms like the Sinclair QL and Commodore 64. That's what the C64 stands for. And a ton more enhancements under the hood. So new FPGA right off the chute. They needed to tease with something that, what's more than the Kickstarter 2? I already own a 1 and a 2. What's going to do it? Okay, a bigger FPGA, which means I want it. Because I may want to explore these other operating systems or cores later on that I'm going to need that extra power. So bitchin'. So I did that. So it shows a picture, and it says, seriously cool looking computer, the ZXSpectrum Next. It is sexier than anything out there, in my opinion. It is a beautiful computer. More than retro, the power of the Next. And then it starts talking some numbers. It says hundreds of new games and apps, improved graphics, enhanced sound, and it's fully compatible with classic ZXSpectrum hardware and software. No emulation in sight. That's what an FPGA is. So anyway, cool. And then it shows some pictures, play the classics. It shows a picture of Saboteur, Head Over Heels, and what's this one called? Lords of Midnight. So these are some next specific titles that will not play on an older Speccy, but will play on a Speccy Next. So there are games out there that take advantage of the power of the Speccy Next. Create your own classics, and it talks about Next Basic and full C support, assembly, complete IDEs. So it's letting you know that this thing itself, you can completely program on it. It's got a lot of power. And then you can also use ancillary computing technology to also be able to probably bring games into this. I only use the real thing. So if I'm making a game, it's going to be done on this. So whatever things are on this that I can program with, that's what I'm willing to learn. Then it talks about with every system shipped, an SD card is included, packed with games, apps, and demos. Here's just a small sampling of pictures. Again, go to the Kickstarter, look at them close, because I have to do this to kind of see what I need to see. I'm kind of blind. But there's a lot of fun games there. And it says it's not just a Spectrum, it's a platform. Thanks to its new expanded FPGA, the next issue 3 supports more retro cores and ZX personalities than ever. New official cores. There's some unofficial and official. Official cores, they've got a Sinclair QL Next, which we know about, which is 68,000 processor and a 68020. It's got the Commodore 64 core, which I believe they're licensing the real deal core or the real deal ROMs from the folks that own it, so that's cool. So some of my C64 Commodore Commie friends are kind of, you're going to have a Commodore. It's going to be a Commodore. True, I'll be able to do it. And I'm envious of a few games that I see pop up on itch that I would love to be able to run. So it's cool that I'll be able to do that. And then personalities, it talks about some other personalities that are built into the Next, like the TS or TC 2048. Those are basically kind of like the Timex computers. Pentagon, TK90X, TK95, and others. Basically Timex, unofficial clones. Multiple personalities. You can do a ZX80 and ZX81 on this as well. Play some games. The specs, it has all the specs. Now, I'm not going to read everything off on here, but this does have a Z80N at 3.5 megahertz. But as you know, if you've got a Next, you can boost that up to 7, 14, and 28 megahertz, which is cool. It's got full ZXSpectrum family compatibility, 2 megabytes of RAM, all sorts of video modes on this thing, lots of video output, including RGB, VGA, and HDMI at 50 and 60 hertz. Extra hardware, sprites, and all these other things. Again, look at it for your own nitty-gritty. It's got one SD card slot with DIV MMC compatible protocol, one internal one, a micro SD slot with pre-installed card, fully supported by Next ZX OS. So that's a little bit something different for me. Inside the Kickstarter 3, and I believe on these older ones, but it didn't come pre-installed on these older ones, that it's going to have a second SD card, but internal only, that you can do stuff on. I need to find out more about that, but that is a cool feature. Then it's got all the other stuff, the audio, the joystick ports, PS2 ports, tons of stuff that we're already used to, and alternative operating systems, additional cores. So again, that's all on the native ZXSpectrum Next Issue 3. But then it talks about ZXSpectrum Next Issue 3 in Sinclair core mode. It has all the specs of what you're going to get out of it in as a QL, up to 44 megahertz, 68,000 or 68020 processor. If you want to become a QL, it has all of the specs on there. Then here's the ZXSpectrum Next Issue 3 in C64 core mode. Talks about all the specifics here. And I believe, again, this is officially, they're licensing the ROMs for this to make it official. So they can't just do this for the hell of it. So they're making things official, so that's cool. So if you want to do C64 stuff on here, bitchin'. Prepare to fall in love with a computer all over again. This is kind of bringing back some of the old memories of the original Kickstarter 1 and 2. it's getting you excited for why. Why do you want a Specky Next? Because it can do the old, it can do the new. It is really a vibrant platform. So it's giving you some stories, some links, some videos that entices one like me to come in and take a gander at things. It's talking about the Wi-Fi. It's got built-in Wi-Fi and networking capability. So you can use a program like GetIt to be able to talk to your the internets, per se, to grab games and things directly from the Next. You don't have to do card swapping on here. So GetIt is an application that lets you do that. It's built by the community, powered by you. So they're giving a little kickback here. They're bringing in Rick Dickinson's name again, the original in-house Sinclair designer, and Phil Candy, who was his partner in crime, talks about them. But it's basically, I think, giving a little nod to it's the community that's making this happen. I mean, they could put it up on Kickstarter, but if no one buys it, it's not going to happen. So they're making it available. We're paying our hard-earned money for it. So it's giving some look-sees at some of the names behind this. And I'll just rip off the names, but Alan Albright, Gary Lancaster, Tim Gilberts, D. Rimron Sauter, goes by Zellier, I guess is how you pronounce that, something like that. David Safier, Robin Verhagen Guest, Michael Flashware, Gary Biasillo, Mike Daly, Matt Davies, Lampros Potamiamos. I have a hard time with that one. Theo Liontakis Leon, Kev Brady, Phil Candy, Victor Trucco, Henrique Alifers, Alfredo Tato, and Phoebos Dokos. So that was some great names of people that are involved in this, making it happen. Some honorable mentions: Simon and Goodwin, Martin Hill, Mike Cadwallader, and you. It's saying you, the people who make up the Next community, are literally its lifeblood. They are the ones who make it possible by supporting the project through crowdfunding, who reward developers for creating games and apps, and who in the end use the computer, turning a bunch of plastic, copper, silicon, and electrons into a machine with soul. Without you, there would be no ZXSpectrum Next. And I agree with that. We're equally involved in this endeavor. Why back the campaign? And it gives you some whys and whats and so on. It also has the Next magazine picture in here. Wait, the ZXSpectrum Next has a very own mag? Well, yes. And I write for it. I have an article in there, TJ's Corner, from issue number 1 right till today, until they can my butt for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe sometime I'll say something offensive and they'll can my butt. But until that time, I'm still officially writing for the magazine, and I have my own little part in this fun magazine, and they're talking about that. So you can grab that issues. It's up to what? We've had 8 now. So, and then this is where I just kind of lost my load. That's what's going to get me canned from doing stuff. I say stuff like that, but I'm doing it in a fun, adult innuendo way, and we're supposed to be adults here. Look at this thing. It's purple. It's translucent. It's everything I imagined and more. So it talks about a magenta, but I'm calling it purple. I don't use that word magenta. Anyway, an eagle-eyed eye amongst you will notice magenta is color number 3 on the Specky, as in issue 3. See what we did there? So, purple. And I'm naming mine Purple People Eater. And since I got a Cloud Person game, I was going to do, you know how it's the old song, the horror song, Purple People Eater, one eye, one arm, one Purple People Eater. So I'm going to name it Purple People Eater, Cloud People Purple Eater. So it's got that picture. So I go, oh shit. Son of a... That's what I said, and I'm naked, 1:30 in the morning. I woke up out of bed, and I go, oh, crap, let's look at it and see if I need to get this. And I saw this picture, and I saw the FPGA, and I went downstairs, buck naked, grabbed my wallet, went back upstairs, and made the pledge for the purple one. I had to have it. Stretch goals. I think we've made every single one so far because we're already up to almost $2 million. But they put... In under 7 minutes, they made their base need of that $335,000. And then they posted all of these things, a $500K, $700K, $900K, $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3, and $1.5. I think we're about there on all of them. I want to point out the Sam Coupe core at $1.2 million has been met, I believe. So that is bitching because I've got a Sam Coupe. So that's rocket kick-ass right there. Sam Coupe. The exclusive Next mag, I believe we're getting. And I have no idea if I'll be in that one. He may say, oh, No, you swear too much. We're not having you in that issue. But if they ask me to, I'll write an article for it. But they're going to have an exclusive next mag that's going to that we're going to get with our Specky Next Kickstarter 3. And then the 1.5 million to the stars and beyond. The next needs a 3D game. And we at that with what is 1,800,000 and some odd thousand. I think we're about there if we're not already. Join the movement. And it talks about you need to join us. Join us. It's a little creepy, but it's cool. Where you're joining the movement, and some of us, I don't want to go there. Anyway, join the movement. Don't forget to check out our partner, and they've got some links down here. Let's build the future, and they've got a picture of the box of the Specky Next, and that they can't wait to build the ZXSpectrum Next issue 3. It does cover risks and challenges, so if you're been under a rock for a while, even though you pay them, does not guarantee you're going to get the goods. That's the one thing about crowdfunding. It's not guaranteed. You may put out a lot of money and you may not get it. To date, though, every single Kickstarter they've done has been delivered. Now, slowly, but there's been some world issues that have caused it, so they had some excuses to do it. But to date, they've delivered on Kickstarter 1 and 2. So, I went ahead and I'm going to take the risk. Hopefully, they come out with this in the end. And then it talks about some of the other designs and stuff like that. The one thing that I am having a little bit hard time believing, because there's rewards. And the reward says estimate delivery December 2025. I personally don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. Murphy's Law. Maybe, at a minimum, if you notice they're selling a motherboard option only. So if you own a Kickstarter 1 and 2, I believe you can buy the board only, and it's supposed to be able to be put into, I think, those cases. Double check, read your own stuff, but you could buy a board only if you would like to update your old one. Much cheaper, obviously. And you can get the upgrade board with a side little board, the ZXSpectrum Next upgrade board. So it looks like there's a little, this one's just the board. This one's got a little dinky board connected to it. Read the text, it will tell you what the dinky board's about. And then you can scroll down, and then it's got its first ZXSpectrum, the cheaper of the bunch, 300 pounds. And then it goes to this one that's the accelerated version that basically has the pie and stuff in there, I believe. A little bit more costly. Get that one. I mean, you're 20 pounds. You better do it, because otherwise you're going to try to buy it later. You're going to get your big old knobby hands in there and break something. That's what I would do. So I'd get the accelerated, but there's accelerated. Then there's the purple one, the most expensive of the bunch. To me, in the United States, it's $457 plus shipping. By the time you add shipping on there, it's going to be about $500. That is the most expensive Next I've purchased to date, because I think the last one, which was for 2020, that I received in 2024, is when I received mine. It was around $420, I think, delivered, something like that. So I'm spending roughly about $100 more to get this son of a bee's weasel, but I want the purple one. And then things that were all gone. They had a ZXSpectrum early bird, only like 100 units or something. It literally went, I think, in a second. Because, look, they're up at millions of dollars here. So if anybody that got one just wanted to probably have a case and the basics very cheaply so they could then play around with it and tweak it later. Anyway, that is it. I'm going to guess they're going to have to bring on some more stretch goals. What other stretch goals do you want? Man, it would be neat, in my opinion. One thing that didn't happen from the original Kickstarter 1 or 2, I should say, is they were going to make available separately, I thought, a dust cover that was really cool. It looked plastic. It looked like it was molded. It looks like it would fit over the top. That never happened. It wasn't something I think we paid for, but it was something that they said they would make. That never happened. We could never order one. It's been years. So I'm not quite sure why they didn't dive into making that happen. That's, I think, a little bit of a sad part, because I wanted to buy 2 dust covers that fully encased my Next, not just part of it, the whole thing. And it never happened. So I'm kind of bummed about that. So will they make any hard physical devices that are part of their stretch goals? Right now, they don't really have anything. Everything is digital, electronic. I don't see anything that's physical. Well, the book is going to be physical. That is a tangible thing there. But the other ones, it looks like it's going to be all Captain Squarejaw, Target Renegade. It looks like additional games and things of that nature. But the only one that's a physical hard thing is the next mag. So I would love to see if we make that 2 million or whatever. I'd love for them to reintroduce that black plastic, whatever, dust cover and make it part of this. Or that you're able to add it onto your existing pledge for $25 or whatever, a dust cover. Because I got dust and spit all over the place, so I want a dust cover. So are you excited? As excited as I am. I really can't wait for this purple one to land in the United States, in my home. I'm excited. But ultimately, again, there's a pledge that there's a risk involved. So always be prepared for that, but I'm hoping for the best. And so far to date, they've delivered, and I can't wait to get my purple People Eater Specky Next Kickstarter 3. So thanks for watching. I'll make more videos. Maybe when they meet another dollar plateau that we really need to talk about, I'll talk about it and make another video. But until then, this thing is dog out nuts. People are bidding their lives on these things and bidding on it while they're naked. Like me. Thanks for watching. Bye.